Yo, welcome to today's video. I'm going to give you a run through of my downhill bike today because I've never actually mentioned it on the channel at all. But first of all, it's canny minging, so I need to give it a wash. So I put a snippet of my last video on Reddit yesterday, and it got 370 upvotes, and everyone seemed pretty chuffed with the video, with the riding, like the snippets of the riding. Same video on YouTube, 2 views, 3 seconds watch time, so God knows what's going on there. I'm obviously just not doing the right things to get the views in the first place, but anyway. So this is like a 10-foot bike, so from 10 foot away I think it looks pretty amazing. As you get closer you start to see that it's been used for downhill, it's been used for uplifts, so it is a bit tatty. So it's a YT Tues 2.0 comp, and you'll notice it's not looking the same as most comps from that year, and that's because I've wrapped it. So personal preference, I didn't really like the green, plus after a couple of rides it started to get all scratched up, so I decided just to wrap the areas that were green to black, and I think that gives it a bit more of a cleaner look. On the whole it's pretty standard from how it came originally. I have made a couple of different changes to it though. So let's start with the wrap. So if you look closely you can see it still says YT Tues there, and that's just the raised paint from the black bits as well. I've got the edge running along so you can see how scratched up the frame is. It used to be this colour green before, and I'm not a fan of green, so literally just put it along so you can see the difference between the unprotected frame and then also where it's been wrapped, and then further down here as well. So tatty scratches, and then I've just put this line in here. This is where my heel rubs quite a lot, and you can actually see on the wrap now as well that my heel's been rubbing. So a bit of protection, but also to make the bike look a bit more stealthier. Let's start with contact points on the bike. So we've got DMR death grips, got them in the camo, not sure why, I think I just fancied a different colour at the time. Narrow versions, quite like them, super soft. Not sure about the ridge. I think I probably, if I was to buy them again, I'd buy them without the ridge. Sometimes it rubs on the inner part of my thumb, so at the end of the day the little area here, I can't point it, the little area there, it's like red raw from rubbing. So I've also got my standard bit of skateboard decking cut out and put on, just to lessen the chances that I'm going to slip should I need to change a gear. And then it's also here on the brake levers as well. It just means that I don't have to hold on as hard, and when I do go to pull it, it just pulls in nice and easy. Do be warned though, that on there kind of puts excessive wear on your gloves, so you kind of find your gloves wear out a little bit quicker than they normally would. Handlebars, core OCD, these were standard with the bike. Raised face Atlas stem, that was standard with the bike. Again, wrapped over there and just cut out the badge area. That was all the same colour before, so I just did that to sort of accentuate the YT. Boxer World Cup shocks with high and low speed compression. And then we move down, mud hugger, front mud guard. I've actually wrapped it. So I like 1950s pin-up girls and things like that, so I wrapped it with like just something cheap I found on eBay. So I wrapped it to do that, and then to match that I also wrapped, it comes with a bash guard, so I've also wrapped that there underneath as well. So just exactly the same thing, just wrapped over the bottom. Going down, Kodar brakes, again these were standard. The only thing I've done is swapped out the pads inside them for sintered pads, just to get me a bit more wear and sort of all year round braking. And then DT Swiss wheels, I can't remember the make or model, but again I took off the stickers. It was DT Swiss BZD Vet, blah blah blah, like whatever, all around the wheel. And I just, like I said, I like a cleaner look. I don't mind the brand being there, but I'm not interested in like the whole what it is. I know what it is. If I need to, I can just find that, so just remove that just to give black wheels and a nice cleaner look. And then my Maxxis Minion downhill tyres, soft, grippy, super tacky even, never have a problem with them. And then the inner tube in there is a heavyweight inner tube, to try to lessen the amount of punctures I get. As you can see though, it's got the marks of a couple of crashes. Thing else I try to do is in here, so I've put Gorilla Tape over the back of there just to make it, when I come to clean it, just to make it a bit easier so the mud can't all get inside there, because it's sort of like a hollowed out area. So just cover that with a bit of Gorilla Tape to stop any extra mud going in. Moving on to the cranks, so the cranks are standard with the bike descendants, and then my standard DMR Vault pedals, which I never have a problem with. Nice big pins, lots of grip. Sometimes even fall foul of a pedal strike. So moving further up, I quite like this silver cutout as well. I think it gives some definition to the shapes of the bike, so I left that silver as it was. Then I've got a Boss Toy shock on the rear. Squeaks like a little mouse when I go down the hill. I think that's just what they do. It's always done it from day one, so I presume that's just what they do. That's literally the only noise the bike makes when I go down the hill. One thing I have done is changed out the coil. So I changed the coil to, I think it's a 500 titanium coil. The one that came on for me was far too soft, so upgraded that, so it's got a nice firm back end. I learned to ride originally using a hardtail, so I quite like a firm back end, to be honest. I don't mind like the dip in the front, but the back end nice and firm. Seat, so SDG seat, again standard with the bike. It's got the YT over. This was green as well, so I got a black marker pen and just scribbled over. And then moving through into the back, so again, Kodar brakes, centered pads, the 203 discs. You can see that's from my heel rubbing up and down as I'm riding, so you can see some of the marks. Tyres nearly through the sides, that's all the cutties I do, or even uplifts. And then I've just tried the back to the same treatment as well, so I've got the DD Swiss, but I've took off what kind of DD Swiss it is. Moving over to the other side, SRAM X9 clutch derailleur. Chains only ever come off once on us, and that was it in Elithan. And it was because I'd had the thing apart, and when I'd put it back together, the guide here was too far away, so it was only like half a centimetre or something. I need to move it further forward, but that's literally the only reason, and then I've never had a problem with it since. And again, Truvative descendant cranks, and same pedals on this side. So as soon as I got the bike, after maybe a month or two, I started to get a bit of discoloration here. So I've looked up how to fix it, how to remove it, and like there was like old wives online saying use ketchup and use this and use that. I think, to be honest, the metal isn't as pure as it could be, and that's the reason for the discoloration. But I'm no expert, so maybe don't listen to what I'm saying. It's got no cracks in it or anything like that. It's never given me problems. It's just a bit of discoloration, and like I said, with the other marks on the bike, it doesn't really make any difference anyway. And so that is my wrapped YT Tues. And so I thought it would be probably good to touch on ownership as well at this point. So when I bought the bike originally, I kind of messed up the order a little bit. I put the wrong payment method, so I sent them a message straight away, email, just saying, look, I want this bike, I've messed up the payment method, I want to pay this way instead of this way. Came back to us within like a day, straight away. Yeah, no problem. Made the payment, waited like a week, no change of shipment or anything like that. So I was thinking the bike still hadn't been shipped, and it just turned up at my door one day. So it literally took about a week to get the bike, so super fast. Whenever I've had issues with it, so for example, one issue I had was the headset went. Unable to find like a matching headset from anywhere else. It was literally the only one I could find that fitted was with YT. It wasn't on the website, and they basically again came back to us in a day saying, just send us an email saying this and this, and we'll get it sent out and make the payment of this amount. So I did, and again within like a week I had it. Love the way the bike feels, love the way the bike handles. I had a specialised demo before this one, demo 7. I kind of never really bonded with it. Like, good bike, love the bike, but you know, when there's just something that you're just not as relaxed as you can be because there's something about the bike, I don't know, just personal preference or whatever, that's just how I felt with it. Loved the bike, good bike, great to ride, but I just didn't really bond with it. So moved on to this and haven't looked back. Still on 26-inch wheels, not that bothered about changing, works for me. So if you watch the last video I did, which I'll link here, I think that goes to show how comfortable I am on the bike and how comfortable the bike is. That's me coming back from a back injury, the first time riding a downhill bike in basically a year. I'd maybe ridden it for like an hour a couple of months ago just to test, and then this was like my first proper ride in a year. And then straight away I was just, as soon as I jumped on the first trail, I was just super comfortable and able to go a bit faster than I was expecting. So anyway, that's all for the video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you for the next one in a bit. Bye.